And we turn to India, where the economy is growing rapidly, but not fast enough yet to take care of its millions of poor and hungry children. Special correspondent Fred de Sam Lazaro reports on a solution that has resulted in the world's largest school lunch program. A version of this story aired on the PBS program Religion and Ethics News Weekly.
In thousands of schools across India, teachers will tell you to add one more R to reading, writing, and arithmetic. Recess, they'll tell you, may be the most critical part of a student's school day. That's because morning recess is when students are provided a hot meal, as are a few younger siblings who are allowed to come along. Dinesh Sharma is the principal of this school in Rajasthan.
In this school, only about 5 children in all are able to bring lunch from home. We have about 300 children.
Anywhere from a third to 40% of the world's undernourished children live in India today, and about half of all children here have stunted growth.
Those grim statistics contrast sharply with the glowing ones on India's economy, a disparity of growing concern in the country, says social researcher Biraj Patnaik.
India finds itself acutely embarrassed. Its ambitions of being a global power are very poorly reflected in its social sector indicators. And there is an acute embarrassment that the second fastest growing economy in the world has almost half of its children malnourished.
In 2005, India's Supreme Court ruled for civic activists and ordered the government to ensure that every child gets a cooked meal in school. Patnaik, who works for a commission that monitors compliance with the court order, says officials resisted at first.
On the grounds that there were no infrastructure, that teachers would get overburdened, that India just didn't have the financial resources to start a program of this nature. But the Supreme Court reaffirmed that fiscal constraints can never be allowed to come in the way of children's right to food. And if the government had to tighten their belt, that had to happen elsewhere.
With the stroke of a pen, the court ordered the largest school meal program in the world. That left the daunting task of implementing it, says Chanchalapathi Dasa.
The challenge in our country is how to deliver it, and deliver it up to the last mile. That is the challenge. Because a large country with 120 million children in hundreds and thousands of schools, that delivery is a genuine challenge.
Das's group, called Akshaya or Bottomless Pot, was among the first to step in. It was started in the 90s by a group of Hare Krishna devotees preparing a few hundred school lunches as part of the sect's call to service. Later, when such meals became the law of the land, Akshaya went to the government for funds to expand and to India's corporate sector for expertise.
Passion alone is not enough. You need to have organization, you need to have organizational capabilities, you need to have management capabilities. Akshaya Patra has been a very unique marriage of dedicated missionaries and professionals coming with a heart.
And with their wallets. Among India's growing middle class, there's a dawning of philanthropy, he says. Many people are attaining wealth at a much earlier age.
My parents probably would have a house, we come from a middle class family, would have a house when they were probably 50 years of age. In today's India, by the time someone working in a software company in India, by the time they are 28 or 30 years old, they already have a house, they have a car. And then what? They still have a lot of disposable income. And they are genuinely looking for opportunities where their money can be used well for social development.
Akshaya Patra is now the largest of several social enterprises doing school lunches. It serves 1.3 million children every day from kitchens like this one, efficient and productive as any in the world, says manager Govinda Das.
We cook about 150,000 meals in 3 hours time, and the ingredients that we use, something like 7,000 kgs of wheat flour every day. And from that we make about 3 lakh chapatis.
300,000
flatbreads.
Our hours before students show up to school, workers begin feeding wheat flour into giant mixers. At the other end, flatbreads called chapatis emerge, 40,000 per hour, packed in spotless conditions. In industrial-sized cauldrons, rice and a lentil stew called dal are prepared. Flavoring varies by regional preference, but no animal products are used. Hare Krishna devotees are vegetarian in principle, so are most students by economic necessity. In Rajasthan's desert summer, school starts early and the meals arrive as early as 9 a.m. In the 4 years since Chanchalapathi began catering in this area, the most visible impact is in school attendance. It's up 11%. No surprise to Principal Madhu Kilani.
Some of the students have their economic condition is so poor that at night also they are not able to eat food in their home. So they depend, many of the students depend on their midday meal.
For the whole day's nutrition.
Yes, for the whole day nutrition.
She says the students have more energy and improved concentration in class. For its part, Chanchalapathi plans to expand its meal program 5-fold by 2020. Still, not all children, especially in the vast countryside, have benefited equally from the Supreme Court's order, says compliance monitor Patnaik.
Jharkhand, for instance, is a state where I often visited, and I despair at the quality of the meals that are being served there. Even in states where the meals work well, in the more inaccessible and remote parts of the state, you have meals which are not comparable at all in quality to what children in the rest of the country are getting.
We like it, they responded when asked about their food. But when I asked how many students have to go hungry on the days when there's no school, the response was also nearly unanimous. They all did. Despite the Supreme Court's sweeping order and large recent initiatives to address it, malnutrition remains a daunting problem. It is the root cause of 2,500 child deaths in India every day.
Fred's reporting is a partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at St. Mary's University in Minnesota.